Welcome to this Athens Town Hall meeting, and a quick look at the agenda. Well, I'll introduce the mayor in a moment, and Mayor Weil then will give us an update on city activities, and then we will turn to the core of our evening, which is open microphone, and 3 minutes to each and all who have requested to speak to talk about whatever problem, interest, challenge you have in the city of Athens. And then we'll plan to have that go on for probably an hour and a half, and then we'll turn to the mayor for some closing remarks. And when we get to the open mic, I'll just sketch out the guidelines for that. And in the meantime then, it's my honor to introduce to you the Honorable Paul Weil, Mayor of Athens.
I probably don't need this mic right here, do I? Thank you. As long as I don't get feedback, I'm good to go. A couple things. First of all, if anybody has questions, of course, we'll try answering this in our June town hall meeting. We plan to have several meetings throughout the year. We usually have 3 to 4. Part of the conversation that's going on is with our Disabilities Commission wants to schedule one sometime in the spring concerning mental illness and housing. So I'm leaving it to the Disabilities Commission to actually put that together. I'm working with them. As they say, if you look at the agenda, I have like 30 seconds to rebut or discuss any question that comes across. I may not take that 30 seconds just because it's hard to explain. Let me first by thanking the League of Women Voters, the Town Hall Meeting Committee, Milt Reek back there, who's one of the members, Muriel Grimm, League of Women Voters, everybody. I also want to thank my staff for showing up. I've got my Service Safety Director, my Deputy Service Safety Director right here, Police Chief over there, Public Works, Andy Stone, Chief Troxel of the fire truck that you see out there. Doesn't it look like $1 million? Yeah. Okay. It's about maybe a week or two from being fully commissioned and ready to go because they're still working out I think he said he's running it to make sure it's still under warranty and everything works. John Paskey, my code enforcement officer, and my planner, Paul Logue over here. I see we also have some elected officials in there. I think I saw Chris Fall over there, Kent Butler over there. Jim Sands is way back there someplace, right there. And I thought there were other ones too. Who else is there? Who's Allahu Ghazni way back there. The camera's in the way, and Rich Campitelli is the director of our beautiful facilities here, which also needs a little paint, I know, but we'll get to that sooner or later. So what's going on in the city? I guess that's what I have, is updates on it. We're concerned about the budget, of course. We took about a $500,000 hit from the state for local government funds. That means that we have to watch our services as well as best possible. Again, this is coming from down the state tax disappearing, local government funds. They're actually talking about trying to condense the income tax collection, so we may be in line to have to wait in line for everybody else. So we watch our overtime, we watch our services. Last year's projects, as you know, you probably noticed, we did a Carriage Hill Bridge repair. It was closed for a couple of weeks there. We did Mill Street sanitary sewer and paving and sidewalks last year. I'm sure you noticed that while you're driving through it or around it. We also did the Columbus Circle Road, Phase 1, that's the upper part of it. We did some energy upgrades both for this community center through Perfection Group, City Hall, as well as Code, and the parking garage. We also added a little bike spur, a northwest bike spur at West State Street Park, with the idea that will continue out eventually to 682 and possibly Moonville if we can get the monies together. We did emergency line replacements on Woodward, Fairview, and Highland. I'm sure the people who live there noticed it as well. Ladder truck, I won't have to say much more about that. We are working with the Rotary on the South Side Park to make it accessible. I thank them for doing a lot of the work on that, and Rich for doing the coordination. We also applied for and working with HAPCAP, Hacking Athens Perry Community Action, on our CHIP grant. This is the housing CHIP grant. It's about $500,000 for housing rehabs, housing repairs, as well as rentals for metropolitan housing to work with them. The GO Bus has extended its route to Marietta, so there's been expansion of service on that. It's going great guns. It's going so well, and HAPCAP's been administering it and marketing it and doing a good job. So much so that we are looking and we have entered into contract to administer our city bus system as well. And I say that because when you look at it, who was running the city bus system was McDonald Transport and my office. And I will be the first one to tell you I'm not a master at managing bus systems. So we've got HAPCAP doing that, Hocking Athens Perry Community Action. They've hired Michael Lockman, who's over there, as coordinator for administrating our bus system. He's probably going to get up and say a few words on it. I think we can get better service for the same amount of money. And that to me is important. I don't think a city is worthwhile if it doesn't have a good bus system, a good public transit. So let's see, we also are working a little bit on phase 2, safe routes to school. Those will be the stairways between the Armory and 4th Street and West Elementary School to West State Street. This will enable us to get pedestrian traffic to and from without getting on the roads. For this year, 2012, North Court Street infrastructure improvements. We were able to get some money from the Public Works on that. A little bit over $300,000, if I remember. Am I correct on that? I go to these guys and say, if he nods yes, I know I'm doing it right. Total is about $400,000. So we'll be tearing up North Court Street and putting brick down when it's all done. Finally. Other things, we'll be working on phase 3 of the safe routes to school. These are more sidewalks and paths, in particular one from Morris to the Hocking-Adena bike path. Trying to get a sidewalk next to Arts West on Miller, where it's a lot of traffic that goes through and no sidewalk there. I think we're looking on South Shannon too, and a couple other places. One of the concerns is there's a transportation authorization bill that's going through the feds right now. I think it's in both branches, state and Senate and Congress. It's supposedly the Safe Routes to School has been taken out of the mix. That's what we're hearing, and maybe we'll get back in because I think one has it and one doesn't. So we may be seeing the last of that. I hope not. They've moved some of the pieces around in terms of the transportation authorization. I hear they might be taking out the transportation enhancement funds. I was over at Buckeye Hills, and they talked about the fact that they may be taking out some of the mix that goes to the Appalachian region area too. Just so you know, that things are moving up there. Other things we have planned. We're going to be doing some, if we pull the money together, some water line repairs on Joneswood, Riverview, and I think Harrison, Ranson, and West Union, I think we're discussing. We'll see how the funds work on that. And again, it comes down to money. Wastewater treatment improvements. There's an energy efficiency grant we got. It needs to be utilized, and we're working on that. I forget the amount, 800?
Total project is around 450. The grant was for 362, so we'll get 362 reimbursed.
Okay, 362, 400. We also are working on a total upgrade, which is a longer process. So it's not next year, but eventually we'll be throwing some multi-million dollars at it to improve it. The bid's going out for Grover Slip. I know some of you have been waiting patiently for it either to slip entirely or get repaired. The hope is, I think that's going to be Valentine's Day, I think the bid opening is, I'm told.
Correct.
Okay, and so we'll be working on that. Columbus Circle Phase 2. Last night we were working on the easements, accepting the easements. Thank you for Ginder and Cornwell and Parfit and Athens Health Realty. They've given us easements to be able to improve that Phase 2, which is the bottom of Columbus Circle Drive, or what used to be called Circle Drive. But again, it will improve the access to the nursing home there, which is, of course, as I'm told, is filling up quickly. Oxbow Bridge, I shouldn't say, you will know about that. That's going to be coming at us. You will have traffic patterns to get around it. We're working on that. And as I say, these are just, actually, to tell you the truth, these are the physical things. And as a old techie guy, I think of the physical stuff. Some of the other things we're working out with is Ohio University Memorandum of Understanding, so we have a better communication between each other. Both police departments, Ohio University Police Department and Athens Police Department, have put together an advisory commission for better communication. I think their kickoff meeting is 2 days from now in this area, this room right here. And again, these are the non-physical aspects of it. You probably heard last night the City Council did a resolution about corporations, people over corporations. We'll see how that goes. So I want to talk a little bit about the concerns I have. And these are things that are not easily solvable. One, of course, is that we had this recently at the Planning Commission level. We had a discussion of historic preservation. That will require a grassroots effort to get a target on that, because everybody has a different idea of what makes history. Some people it's Elvis and rock and roll. Other one is 1850. So we have to work that out. I'm looking to my planner to do a lot of the coordination of that. We also have a comprehensive plan review advisory committee that looks at what was missing in our comprehensive plan, and that's one of the pieces that need to be worked on. Other issues, of course, the Planning Commission is looking at business zones. Let's see, solid waste district. I've been at several solid waste. The solid waste district is Athens and Hocking. We required Logan, the city of Logan, to pass our updated plan. They did not, so it goes to the EPA probably, unless they change their mind. Changes are coming to our recycling and our solid waste processes. They will probably cost more. I hope not. Hopefully they'll be better too. We'll get better recycling along the way. But just be aware that that's in flux. Other ones, of course, last meeting, I was going over the meetings from last year, June and January of 2011. Fracking came up. Fracking is, of course, hydrofracking and gas wells and what's happening. I've been to many, many meetings about this. Pro and con, concerns and opportunities. It's a mixed bag. There are lots of concerns. Realize we're a small player here. If you look at the footprint of Athens as a city, it's 10 square miles, approximately. You look at the footprint of the county, it's 50 square miles. So it's a 51. I know the county's looking at I see Archie there. They're looking at the RUMA, I guess it is, which is the abbreviation for Roadway Use, Repair, and Maintenance Agreement. So we're trying to make sure our roads don't deteriorate with the trucks and whatever's coming at us. I was at the meeting over in Marietta where it was pretty much the business people trying to buy into it. Some of the concerns, of course, were the infrastructure and the wear and tear on the infrastructure that we have. Also the nature of changing our county, because if there's an influx of population, things will change. An influx of money, it will change. I spoke to one banker who says, well, if everybody pays off their mortgage, what am I going to do? I think that's probably a minor one right there, but at the same time, there are changes coming at us. We control them, we can try stopping them, but we want to be aware of them. Homelessness. I've received at least a half a dozen emails in the past week. I've had conversations with pastors. I've had conversations with Keith Wasserman. The solutions are not easy. It can be done by council. It can be done by the Planning Commission. We can change the law. Be aware, though, changing laws has unintended consequences. The conversations I've had concerning Timothy House actually is that if they went to Title 21 0, they could actually have a PUD, do a planned unit development. That is within their purview. It's not an easy solution. Where to put housing for homeless? Well, we're in a lawsuit right now with integrated services, about integrated services. This is a housing project that was put in with good intentions, and obviously it was a surprise where we ended up on that. We have basically deeded 2 lots of the city property to Habitat for Humanity to help. So we're working on this stuff. It's not easy. We have a lot on our plate. R3s is where you put multi-family housing, multi-unit housing. Unfortunately, most of that footprint is taken up by student housing. It's always a competition on that. So there are things that we're working on and looking at. I don't know where the future will take us. I'm optimistic. I think I've got another 1,000 days to play mayor. I'm going to leave it at that pretty much, except, again, thank you for the League of Women Voters conversation, to have this ability to talk to everybody and have me listen to you. I am a public servant, and I probably could save this for the closing part, but really, where you want to take the city is everybody's choice and where we want to go. I don't have control over everything, whether it's where the gas wells will go or the school systems or, and the budget constraints. I mean, we're looking at, everybody seems to think they can run on nothing. We have union contracts, we have laws, we have retention policies. as a public servant, when you get up there, you realize the things that you think you can be king, but you can't. I would be remiss if I did not plug the League of Women Voters, who does a great job. They are having forums for the upcoming primaries. The first one will be the county engineers, the 16th. It will be at Athens County Library, Public Library in Athens, Home Street, 6:30. That will be the 16th. The next one will be the 21st, which will be the county commissioners. And the one after that will be the 23rd, which is the 94th House District. No? I see.
It's canceled.
I thought the 15th congressional was canceled.
No,
Both of them are canceled.
no, 15th is still on.
15th is still on. I'm taking it from somebody who's much more in charge of it than I am. So, and is that the 23rd? 28th, sorry. 28th for the 15th? So the 23rd is canceled. Okay. So we have, stay tuned, watch newspapers, but we have them coming up and be informed. So we have the 15th, 21st, and 28th for the primaries. And I say that because you make the choices of who, like me, stands up here, okay, and stands in other positions. And that's really what you have to do, get informed choices, because as smart as you make the vote is as smart as you get the government, okay? And I'll let it go to Ellsworth. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Weil. Now we've reached the open microphone portion of our meeting, and the purpose of this open mic is to invite you to identify local priorities and concerns. And let me just repeat that again, identify priorities and concerns. That's our purpose and our focus. Each speaker will have 3 minutes, which you've been told, and we are fortunate to have the best timekeeper, Muriel Graham, the best timekeeper between the North Pole and the South Pole, bar none. And she's not only accurate, and so we will, she'll ring a bell when we've hit 3 minutes, and I'll give you 5 or 6 or 7 seconds to finish your sentence, because we don't want red marks for hanging verbs or something of this, so hanging clauses. Okay. Now, if you have written remarks, bring them over to Ron Lucas. And so if you have something brilliant you didn't get to, he'll have that. And so if you did write it out, drop it over here after you have left the microphone. Now, after each of you have spoken, if the mayor or one of his staff members would like to ask a question for clarification, that's their privilege. For up to 30 seconds, and then if you want to clarify for up to 30 seconds, fine. That may or may not occur, but that's part of our outlook on it. And we will invite, or I will invite you up here in the order in which you signed up and asked to speak this evening. Now, I will do my best to give you a productive community experience, and I'll also note that this pairing of a winter here are my concerns for my community with the response of the administration in June seems to have become a regular feature of the year in Athens. I think that's really commendable. And so with that, why, it's time to start introducing speakers, and in the order in which you signed up, let me call first upon Leslie Schaller. Leslie, here's the open mic.
Whoa. Thank you, Ellsworth. And thanks to the City of Athens and certainly to the League of Women Voters of Athens County. I represent a community-based economic development organization that hopefully many folks in this room are familiar with. It's the Appalachian Center for Economic Networks, commonly referred to as ACENET. We serve the 32 counties of Appalachia, Ohio, so we have a very expansive region that we serve. We're probably best known for our work within the local food economy. And I'm sure this is not news to anyone in this room, but Athens, certainly the city of Athens and Athens County, is nationally recognized as one of the premier local food economies in the United States. That said, I think ACENET, like many of residents, citizens, certainly city and county governments, are all struggling with the financial scarcity I think that we all face within the economic downturn. And certainly I think, unfortunately, for those of us who have resided in Appalachia, a lot of times the boom and bust economy has ill effects on our citizenry. What I would like to do is have probably a call to action, not just to the city government, but to everyone in our community to support our food and farm entrepreneurs. We recently hosted a January 9th local food economy town hall meeting in the same room, although I think we had over 100 people in attendance and over 40 food and farm entrepreneurs, as well as supporting organizations, were able to articulate some of the successes, but some of the challenges we face as we reinvent and rebuild our local food economy. I think the biggest challenge that faces us is certainly how do we engage more community investment. Many of our food and farm entrepreneurs are flourishing. Many of them have leveraged a lot of debt to be able to start and grow their businesses. We need new mechanisms and new support, certainly at a government, but certainly at another partnering level, to help provide more community investment. I think anybody in this room would be more than happy to transfer some of the money that they might have in mutual funds or in the casino world of Wall Street into the hands of locally owned businesses. We will be hosting, hopefully on April 9th, a sort of town hall meeting as well as a workshop that will be tentatively titled Local Dollars, Local Cents, and inviting one of our national experts in the field on how to transfer some of the wealth that resides within our bank accounts and our mutual funds and all our stock portfolios to legal ways, legitimate ways to invest in these businesses. I think last week, to see O Chocolate and Soul Restaurant open up on Court Street is just a great recognition of how much support there is within our economy. And thank you for your ongoing eater ownership within this community. And if you would like any additional information on our Food We Love brand or our 30-mile meal program with the Athens County Convention and Tourism Bureau, I, of course, have brought materials to share. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. That sets a good tone because I didn't hear that bell ring. So there's nothing like a time limit to enable one to focus on that which is important. Our next speaker is Rachel Hayden on the topic fracking.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rachel Hayden. Let me scoot this up. I'm a student at Ohio University, and I'm also a Clean Water Fellow for the Ohio Sierra Club, and I work primarily with the Appalachian Ohio group. It's my duty as a Clean Water Fellow to really do whatever I can to protect our clean water supply here in Athens. And right now, I really do see that the largest threat to our water is horizontal hydraulic fracturing. This process uses between 2 and 8 million gallons of water, sand, and chemicals per frac job per well. While only 1% of the fluid is chemicals, that still equates to about 7,500 gallons, and 93% of those chemicals are known carcinogens. I often read in the papers and I see on the news that the industry is always claiming that these chemicals, you can find them under your kitchen sink, but I always wonder, last time I checked, I don't drink the chemicals that are under my kitchen sink. So I guess I just wanted to voice a couple of my concerns about what's going to happen to our water and our community when fracking starts. My first concern, really, aside from just contamination in general, is water withdrawals. Right now, the industry is allowed to take up to 100,000 of gallons per day out of our public water supply. That means the Ohio River, the Hocking River, or any lakes and streams that are public, without a permit, and really getting a permit isn't that difficult. So I just wanted to ask our officials and our community what we can do to regulate and really prevent this theft of our water. And secondly, so after the industry moves in and they take our water and they start fracking these wells, about 20% of this water comes up almost immediately. It's then trucked off and it's put down into injection wells. And we have 4 injection wells here in Athens County, 2 of which are active. And they're not just active, they're actively taking frac fluid from northern Ohio, northeast Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and New York City, or New York State, not city. Injection wells have recently been linked to earthquakes. And I also wanted to point out that a lot of the times this flowback water that comes up has radioactive material in it, because when you're drilling 8,000 feet down into the ground, you're going to bring something nasty up. And this fluid's being put down into Class 2 injection wells, which are equipped for saltwater brine, not for hazardous material. They really should be going into Class 1 wells. And so I just want to ask our community and our officials, what are we going to do to prevent Ohio and Athens from being a dumping ground for the rest of the country? I really see this as a time for our Athens community to come together and fight this injustice. This issue definitely turns neighbors against neighbors, but it's really important for us to remember that a lot of the people who have signed these leases did it out of fear for what's going to happen to their land, or we're one of the poorest regions in the nation, so let's remember that. I had one nice last thing to say.
Nope.
It's our job to protect our land.
Rachel,
Rachel, do you have,
Excuse me.
okay, we need a sacrificial lamb.
okay, thank you.
We need a sacrificial lamb, and so it's the first one who goes beyond the tinkle tinkle. And as far as that's concerned, we are going to hear more about that topic this evening, unless my list of speakers is incorrect. And I'd like to call upon Mary Costello, who will continue the same topic. Mary?
I'm Mary Costello. I'm a member of the local Athens County League of Women Voters. At a recent meeting, we had discussions on a number of issues that will impact the future of our community. One of those issues is fracking, and we have 3 questions to pose to the county and city officials with regard to fracking. These are questions that have already been posed, even talked about, even this evening, but we would like to add our voice to these concerns. So the first question is, what means of protection will be put in place to protect our water, soil, and air from the potential damage that may be done? And when will those protections be put into place? The second question is specifically, are you planning to do baseline testing of water, soil, and air before fracking begins so that any changes can be measured periodically and steps taken to prevent further damage if damage is discovered? And we feel this should be done for roads and highways and rail lines and all infrastructure. And the third question is, who will pay for such testing and for whatever corrective measures may be required if there is damage? Would it be the corporations, the landowners, the taxpayers? And we wondered too if an extraction tax could be levied on the corporations for the gas that they obtain from the wells. We urge proactive environmental impact studies and cost analyses by both city and county, and look for answers to our concerns at the June Town Hall meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Next, I'd like to turn and call upon Mary Lee Powell to talk about economic future of Athens County. Mary Lee?
I too am a member of the League of Women Voters of Athens County, and one of the other issues we discussed at the meeting that Mary Costello introduced was the economic future of Athens County. Broad topic. We're asking questions of the stakeholders on this issue, and the stakeholders we decided are the population of Athens County. The primary stakeholders responsible for addressing this issue that we came up with are the county commissioners, the Athens City Mayor and City Council, the Athens Chamber of Commerce, and the Athens County Port Authority. There may be other agencies that we don't have, but we identified those as the primary stakeholders. As development entities, and there are many in this county, ACENET, the Innovation Center at Ohio University, a group called Business Remixed, which someone mentioned that I'm not sure exactly who they are. Ohio University's Voinovich Center programs such as Tech Growth Ohio. So we identified those as development entities that we know about. We would like to make sure that others are identified and come forward. Key factors for success that we could identify are support for development by retraining of workers, and that kind of support by supporting the efforts of entities like Tri-County Joint Vocational Education Services, Adult Career Services of CVEC, the Workstation, Athens County Jobs and Family Services. Those are key factors for the success of economic development at future as we see it. And another key factor in success would be cooperation with community block grant writing agencies such as the Athens County Hocking Perry Community Action Agency. And again, there are probably other community block grant agencies that we did not identify. We thought our measures of success, our way of measuring the success will be when we see new businesses attracted, local income taxes increased because more people will be employed. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mary Lou.
Oh, yeah.
Let me take 2 seconds to add a few things. In terms of the Business Remix, that's the Economic Development Council. I am now president of it. That is a coordination between the Economic Development Council is coordinating between the University, the county, and the city for economic development. We look at issues that arise with economic development. Some things I do see that are needed actually is places for actually businesses to grow. So when you talk about some of the agencies out there, there's the CIC, Community Improvement Corporation. As you say, the Port Authority is another action there. Realize the Buckeye Hills Development District, which is centered over in Marietta, but covers a 8-county, I think, region. Yeah, well, I mentioned that. Rural Action is another organization in terms of development.
Thank you both.
I thought you said whoa.
Oh, pardon me. I thought I said thank you both. I should have trotted out the names, but sorry about that. Next, I'd like to call upon Carol Patterson to talk about energy use and sustainability. Carol?
Hi, I'm Carol Patterson, and I also bring to you a question from the League of Women Voters. This particular question came out of our discussion on energy use and sustainability. The discussion recognized that all of us are impacted by usage of energy and the goals that are involved in energy use. Our question specifically is, what specific additional continuing measures will the administration take to reduce energy usage and find sustainable ways to be less dependent on fossil fuel consumption and to protect our environment? We suggest that solutions could include, but not only, building regulations for new builds as well as for renovations, and countywide transportation solutions and vehicle sharing. And of course, we recognize that GoBus is a great start, and we're very pleased with that. And also we're encouraged to note that the vehicle sharing issue has been discussed and is a possibility. Our hope is that these solutions will include cooperations with energy-related companies, with energy engineers and environmentalists, and that all of us can share in energy-saving ways, and perhaps I'd like to see one of our town hall meetings designated as an energy town hall meeting, which is something that we have discussed in the past, and I think it's time now. And we request as well that there be a method designated for how to measure the outcomes. What difference are we seeing in our air quality and in our actual fuel usage? So have measurable designs in place to see how we're doing. Thank you.
Go right ahead.
I've been at a lot of meetings on energy. We talk about job creation, and most of it right now is geared to the gas industry, unfortunately. First of all, the next couple meetings that I go to energy, I'd really like people to stand up and say, "Hi, I'm Paul, I'm an energy addict," okay? And think of it that way, because that's what we are. We just use it up, we're junkies on it. The next question, can we do it sustainable wise? In terms of public transportation, HAPCAP has a mobility coordinator grant to coordinate mobility and traffic and public transit in the county. I would suggest you contact Lance Rep of HAPCAP and let him know what you think should be done on this. And that was 30 seconds, right? Okay. Wow.
Paul, you set such a good example that I was tempted to give you what the 10 seconds courtesy would have, but it sets a good, tough pattern for everybody else, and so thank you for the sacrifice. A mayor deserves it, but you didn't get it. I'd like to call upon John Naus to talk about the topic, natural areas. John?
Hello, I'm John Naus, and I'm actually here to talk about the Athens Conservancy. I'm here representing the Athens Conservancy. We are not a conservancy district and never will be. We are an NGO, a 501c3 land trust. Our concern is quality land management, and especially preservation of sensitive environments and preservation of the last and best little land areas out there. We were instrumental in working with Mayor Abel to create the Stroud's Ridge Preserve and the Riddle State Nature Preserve, which includes Hawk Woods, one of the few old-growth forests in Ohio. And these projects connected Sells Park with Stroud's Run State Park. We have half a dozen other nature preserves around the county. We have target areas. The ones that most specifically affect the city are preservation or protection of the Dow Lake watershed, the Stroud's Ridge Preserve Project, which we hope to create more of a buffer between East State Street development and Stroud's Run State Park, Harmony Ridge over here, which is the view shed basically from Hooper Street all the way on out, the Hocking River, though the Hocking River Commission is also working on that, and the Hocking Indiana Bikeway, preserving the view shed along that. We also work with private landowners to create conservation easements, which are instruments whereby people can participate in the future management of their property after they're dead and gone, or after they just sold the property and move on. And as a matter of fact, we're part of a national legal defense fund for defending conservation easements, so we've got some real teeth behind us. We do other things. We support outdoor recreation in this area, and as a matter of fact, are currently working on securing more rail-to-trail right-of-way. We've already accumulated about 13 miles of it. We work on controlling invasive exotic plants. We have a public service mapping center. Now, our main source of income so far, our main source of working funds has been the Clean Ohio Conservation Fund. However, Governor John Kasich has suspended that. So we are seriously in financial need and are struggling to be able to continue moving forward. We do have a program called Purchase Plus at several local businesses where people can donate whenever they make a purchase, even if it's their spare change. You can do this at the pharmacy, at Athens Bicycle, at De La Zona, at Village Bakery, at Catalyst Cafe, and at Bellavino, though that's not going to be much longer. As an organization, we are opposed to fracking, but there's not much we can do about it, given our status.
Thank you, John. You did a great job of rounding that down in about 8 words, and that sets a good standard for everybody. Now I'd like to call upon Al Clapp, topic, economic challenges. Al?
As a newcomer from New York,
That's, you wait, you get up here or your time starts. Come on, Al.
I am very concerned about
Okay.
the economics for older people and younger people jobs-wise.
Go to the mic.
And I would like to see more fundraising, which I've done a fair amount, and I've written quite a bit about the aging world, which is in deep trouble economically. And I don't know the answers, but I've done a lot of fundraising, a lot of writing, and I don't think that we're at as good as this group is in the intention. We got a long way to go to hopefully help our people, all ages, stages, and this is a good example that I haven't experienced before being here, but I want to really see some more forward movement. I don't see it happening yet, whether it's fundraising, whether it's different ages, and we're kind of wishful thinking without actions. I'm scared. Thank you.
Thank you, Al. Now I'd like to call upon Celia Joyce and her topic, Good Work Shelter. Celia?
Hello, everyone. First of all, let me say that I advocated for Mayor Paul Weil's position, and now I am asking him to advocate for mine and the many other citizens on our call to action. I'm asking for the mayor to advocate for an additional home for Good Works to provide shelter for those without homes. I currently work at the Gathering Place, which is a drop-in mental health recovery center in Athens. I see our agency working close with members at the Timothy House, and I can assure you that Good Works helps these people tremendously help themselves. They help them get back on their feet and become active members of the Athens community once again. They help people obtain employment, homes, and become enrolled in programs and find resources such as SSI, food assistance, Medicaid, job and family services, resources that are hard for these people to obtain on their own. Please give Good Works the credit that they deserve and give them time and energy towards this cause, because now it is not just a Good Works problem. It is a community problem. We need to change this social injustice and not make staff at Good Works have to tell another child that they can't stay in a home. As many of you know, last year 142 people were turned away from the Timothy House. 65 of these people were children. These are people who are trying to take their children out of bad homes, trying to start over, and the Timothy House provides help during this difficult transition. These people without homes could be us if one of us lost our jobs or if one of us got divorced. These people could be us. These people are not dangerous. Personally, I'm a college student, and I believe that college students are more dangerous to our community than people living at the Timothy House. This is a we problem. 344 people were turned away within the past 4 years. This is a we problem. Is it better for these people to be on the streets than in a warm home? Where is the incentive of hope for these people if they are left out on the streets? This is fixable. We are not asking for money. We are just asking for time. Just time from the representatives we voted for to now represent us. If you can show us a proper area we can open a new shelter in, our prayers would be answered. It's better to house people than to keep them living on the streets, making their mental health and their futures worse. Please, this is my cry for help and justice and my call to action. Please let us not be silent anymore.
Thank you, Celia. Now I'd like to call on Andrea Horsch, also on the topic Good Work Shelter. Andrea?
Celia, thank you. Whoa. I'm the acting director of Good Works, and I've personally overseen the day-to-day operations of our home for people without homes, the Timothy House, for the last 6 years. I've come to many town hall meetings and have been part of the effort to shine light on the huge numbers of people from the Athens area who we've had to turn away because of lack of space, and I believe that our community cares. Last year, Keith Wasserman attended a town hall meeting where he spoke about our desire to expand or to see the city in some way work with us toward meeting the needs of people who are homeless in our community. Mr. Weil, your reply was quite clear, but it did not address our concerns. You were quoted in our local paper saying that the city was not going to spend money on Keith Wasserman's agenda. I want to be perfectly clear. We are not, nor have we ever asked the city for money, nor have we ever received money from the city to provide shelter. Sheltering people without homes has been part of Keith Wasserman's agenda for 30 years, but it is not only Keith's agenda. It's my agenda. It's the agenda of the 26 pastors who together signed a joint letter asking you to address this problem, and the 344 people we've turned away because of lack of space since the zoning board's decision in 2007 not to let us expand are not an agenda. They are our neighbors. Expanding into the house next door is not currently an option for many reasons that I would be happy to comment on. And to be clear, we're asking for an exemption from the zoning board game. We no longer want to guess at which property might meet their approval. We're asking for you to consult with the other members of your administration and to tell us where exactly it is legal to shelter people without homes inside the city of Athens. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. Now I'd like to call upon Angie Pyle, and the topic is the same.
Good evening. My name is Angie Pyle, and I'm here because I feel compelled to speak up for those who can't speak for themselves, which includes the area homeless. I speak for the 144 people in 2011 who were turned away from the Good Works Timothy House because of lack of space, 65 of those being children. I bring it to the Athens town meeting because homelessness is a community problem, not just a Good Works problem. Keith Wasserman has been requesting help from the city at town hall meetings and zoning appeal meetings for the past several years, with help coming up with a way for Good Works to expand its current location or change locations in order to help more homeless people. I'm asking on behalf of Good Works and the 346 people who were refused shelter over the past 4 years for you to work with Good Works in 2012. Identify a place in the city where they could relocate in order to increase capacity and address the problem with the city's zoning code, which seems to discriminate against our poor community members. I say discriminate because the code was written in the 60s, as I understand, before off-campus housing and before homelessness was a real problem in Athens. I just want to say lastly, the issue of homelessness is a real community problem, yet it doesn't seem like the code has changed to address the problem adequately. So I just want to urge you to appoint someone who can address that issue in 2012, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Angie. Now I'd like to call upon John Frost. His topic, Save Our Schools. John?
We're going to make it quick. We'll do the next three of us.
My name is John Frost. I created the Facebook Save Chancey Elementary page. Within 24 hours of opening the page, we had over 100 members supporting this cause. We now have over 300 online supporters, the Chancey Dover alumni, Chancey community, and the great Chancey teaching staff. This page was not created to throw another school under the bus, but to save our school and now hopefully all the Athens City schools. We do not want to see any schools close. Our focus was consistently been on our children's education and ideas that would be most beneficial to our district as a whole as we face devastating funding cuts and potentially drastic changes to our current educational structure.
Yes.
You ought to know this will be Autumn Bykowski, same topic. Autumn, floor is yours.
I'm Autumn Bykowski, and I, like John, am a proud supporter of Save Chancey Elementary. I assisted in researching and compiling the information and presenting it to the Athens City School Board, where we rallied with the parents of West Elementary and the Plains Elementary, sending a strong message to the Athens City Schools Board that closing any elementary school as short-term budget fixes was unacceptable. We urged them and offered them better options that would not impact the children in Athens City Schools in such a drastic way. So we come here tonight to urge you as a council and to urge you as other parents of the district to join the Save Our Schools campaign. The Athens City School Board, as many other agencies, organizations, and districts, they face many challenges and decisions that will trigger many changes in our educational system. These changes will affect our schools and our community in many ways. And we urge you as a council and you as citizens within our district to become familiar with the issues and join us in advocating for the future of our children's education. We have flyers and we have a Facebook page if anyone's interested.
Thank you, Autumn, and thank you, John. This is Mark McCutcheon. Same topic, is it?
It is, yes. Some of you may be saying, Save Chancey Elementary. What does that have to do with me? I'm in Athens. Well, I come to you because of something I learned on my very first school board meeting about 2 weeks ago, that they are forecasting a debt of $12 million through 2016 due to the state's cutback in the education support funds. One proposal I heard there was to close Chancey Elementary for a savings of $1 million per year. Of course, over 4 years, that would give you $4 million. But then the district would still be $8 million in debt. And, they're going to be looking for more schools to close. So, obviously, that does affect everyone that has a child in Athens or is a parent or, affected by people that go to school here. Now, I've got 4 children that go to the Athens City Schools. I've got 2 at Morrison Gordon, and I've got 2 at the Athens Middle School. They've received excellent educations there. And I guess that most of the parents in the Athens area would say the same thing about their teachers and their children's, about their schools and their children's teachers. So why would we want to close schools or bus our schools all over town to grade level schools to save money when it would damage the educational system that our teachers and administrators have worked so hard to build? John, Autumn, and I founded the Save Our Schools Athens campaign to give the parents, the school board, and the administrator a choice to avoid the budget cuts that would gut our schools. We'll be doing this by working as hard as we can to encourage the superintendent and the school board to put a school levy on the ballot in November. Some volunteers have already stepped forward to help us with the petition drive to get 1,000 signatures or so from citizens across the Athens City School District to present to the school board in an effort to change their mind on school cuts. There will be an organizing meeting next Monday, the 13th at 6 p.m. at the Plains Library, and we'll be gathering signatures soon after. Now, the school board will be meeting on the 23rd of February at 7 p.m. at East Elementary to vote on closing Chancey Elementary. And we need to have a strong show of support from everyone so we can stay that decision and we can fund our top-notch schools for our children's sake. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Now I'd like to call upon Jackie Collins. Jackie's topic is Good Works. Jackie?
Thank you, Ellsworth, and thank you to the League of Women Voters as well as you, Mayor, and the city. I wanted to let you know I'm really happy that Leslie had mentioned that Athens is well known for the food economy. They're also, in case you did not know, also nationally known for the way that the city treats their homeless. In the past, they've been well known for that when you were outside, and I say that as someone who came from Lancaster. When I was moving here, I went first to my new business on Richland. I'm an insurance agent, therefore I went to where the rest of the insurance agencies are on Richland Avenue. And then the second place I went was to Good Works. I was terribly impressed with the way that they take care of things. The way that people treated homeless in Lancaster was terrible. They live in what look like prisons. And I am appealing to the city to think about your reputation and remember the way that you are known from other communities as a philanthropic and benevolent city toward people who are in need. So when you make these decisions that you're coming to make, please remember to choose wisely for Good Works and take good care of them because they're taking good care of you in the national public. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Our next speaker will be Michael Keys, and his topic, homelessness in Athens. Michael?
I appreciate this opportunity to speak to all of you. Thank you very much. What I want to say is that many of you have raised families, and I just want to point out the particular difficulty it is if you're homeless and you have a family. It has been mentioned that many children were turned away within the last few years from a decent place to stay, and so I would like you to consider that. It's good to see that there's more visibility with Good Works and with the problem of homelessness in Athens. So again, I would like to encourage the mayor and the city officials to work on this, to break through the barriers that are keeping the ability to expand to meet the need, to break through those barriers and make some things happen. I'm hoping that we can be a compassionate community as well as well known for environmental and sustainability issues, for energy conservation and local food. Those are really great things. I'm hoping that we can be a compassionate community also, and that we can observe the golden rule, the first golden rule, that is, to do unto others as we would have others do unto us. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Now I'd like to call upon Celia Wetzel, and her topic is fracking. Celia?
Thank you to everybody who made this possible this evening. My name is Celia Wetzel, and I'm a resident of Athens County, Ohio. I cannot stand by and watch this stunning and valuable region of Appalachia be destroyed, acre by acre. There's been a huge investment made by hundreds of farmers who work 24/7, 365 days of the year here in Southeast Ohio. We all benefit every day from the food they produce. My husband and I support the farmers market, food stores, restaurants, local food festivals, and community gardens that are abundant here. I bet that every single person in this room has eaten food that's been produced in this region. And if we added up all of these farmers' experience, all they know about creating the sustainable food economy that we have right here, there would be thousands of years of experience that has been poured into the Southeast Ohio food economy. It has taken decades and decades to make that happen. Horizontal drilling or fracking for oil or gas is incompatible with our food economy. It inherently brings pollutions of all kinds and habitat destruction. Both are unacceptable. To drill for oil or gas, it's necessary to fragment the countryside because it requires acres and acres of land for drill pads, wastewater ponds, compressor stations, and all of these are connected by miles and miles of clear-cut pipeline routes and interstate pipeline routes. All these acres are wasteland, scraped clean of all habitats, all trees for decades. Southeast Ohio counties will be pockmarked with land devoid of life. I'm not saying that I don't want Americans to have jobs, but I do not believe drilling here is as important as what is already going on here. The farmers in this region are already producing something much more precious than oil and gas. They are creating our homeland food security. Southeast Ohio should be protected from oil and gas drilling so the important work of sustainable food production can continue and expand without environmental threat. I feel we must ban fracking now in Southeast Ohio, and I wonder what can we do, what can this administration do, what can we all do to help ban fracking in Athens County, if not in all of Southeast Ohio. Thank you.
Thank you, Celia. Now I'd like to call upon Jeanette Ammon, and her topic is fracking also. Jeanette?
Hi, I'm Jeanette Ammon, and I'm a local landowner in Athens County. I didn't really prepare because I thought we were going to break out into groups and do some other kind of meeting, but I'll read what I jotted down. Already I've heard of different farmers losing their contracts who are producers for the farmers market because leases are encroaching. I feel that it's very important for us all to unify with a common voice against fracking. It's going to affect all of us. Schools aren't going to matter. Anything else isn't really going to matter if our water, our air, and our land is poisoned. So what can be done? I feel like any government opposition that is voiced, whether it's symbolic or not, is going to be important and effective. It sends the right message. Let's see. I think that we should all be proactive on these measures, doing whatever we can, researching, petitioning the governor. I wish there was a way to oust him. I think that if enough people stood up that we could. So just think about whatever you can do on a personal level. I already had my baseline water test done. It was $200. It's real important to have an EPA certified tester do the test and draw the water themselves, or it won't hold up in court. That's a baseline. It's very important. I hope I'll never have to use it in court. I've lived here 20 years, raised my kids here on a very minimal income, and I thought this land was going to be their inheritance, but now we'll have to wait and see. I might have to sell it just to get by. So, yeah, I believe that if we act in unity, appropriately, and in a timely manner, a positive outcome is possible. And I urge that. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeanette. Now I'd like to call upon Chris Linscott, and Chris's topic is Good Works. Chris?
Good evening. Thank you for having us this evening, and to Mayor Weil and the administration. My name is Chris Linscott. I work in community development with Good Works here in Athens, and I'm not going to cover all the ground that's been covered, though I'm grateful to everyone who spoke. Mayor Weil mentioned in his opening remarks that he's had numerous conversations regarding the problem of homelessness, and I'm grateful for those conversations. My priority this evening is simple, and namely it is to hear from those in power that we will hear in June what the city administration's response will be to the problem of having no place to house people without homes. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Now I'd like to call upon John Schmeeding, and John's topic is Community Relations, the Community Relations Commission and mediation. John?
Yeah, I have two topics. So in 1997, I began working with the Athens Area Mediation Service, and shortly after that got a call from a couple of people who had done a tradio on the radio, and the one person ended up with a Rottweiler that ran away, and the other person ended up with a waterbed that leaked. So since then, Athens Area Mediation Service has tried to help a number of people, and in fact has helped many, many people with a wide variety of conflicts. So it's interesting speaking at a meeting like this, because part of my job professionally is not to take stands on controversial issues, so that we are available to help people talk about those issues without taking sides. We work with neighbors, students, landlords, roommates, co-workers, supervisors, staffs, boards, organizations, departments, community issues, and a whole variety of things. Currently, we have a training in conflict resolution that starts this Thursday. So if any of you would like to sharpen your skills, let us know. And on Sunday, March 4th in this building, we will have our Super Bowl fundraiser, SOUPER. So putting on a different hat, Community Relations Commission. Last spring, there was a town hall meeting to discuss diversity and inclusion in Athens. It's a big deal how we treat each other, and it's a big deal how we treat people who seem a little different. So I wanted you all to know that the Community Relations Commission is taking those issues seriously. There are a number of things we've been doing and will be continuing to do, and you will hear more from us. Thanks.
Thank you, John. Now I'd like to call upon Linda Clark and her topic, homeless children. Linda?
Hi, my name is Linda Clark. I live in Athens County. Good evening, Paul Weil, Mayor Weil. Good to see you. Thank you for League of Women Voters for holding this. I, like many of you in this room, have supported Good Works over the years. I've walked in all their walks and sent in donations, given them donations of food that has been left over. And I thought that the situation was pretty well in hand until I saw these statistics just recently that said they had to turn away 144 people. 65 of those people were children. And I can't deal with that inside me personally without having to do something about it. There's about 65 people in this room. Imagine that as children. When you go home and tuck your children and your grandchildren in tonight, thank God that they have a place to go and that they'll be warm. I would hate to have been the staff person or the volunteer at Good Works that said, I'm sorry, we can't bring you and your child into our place tonight because we have no room. We have to do something about this. It's not a city problem and it's not a Keith Wasserman problem. It's a humanitarian problem. We've got to do something. I've been told not to bring a problem to the table unless I have a resolution to it. I don't have a resolution to it, but I will be glad to help in a working group if we can just get some people to the table and start talking about it. It seems like we're at odds between Good Works and the city. We don't need to be at odds. We need to be working together to solve the problem for the children, and it's all about the children. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Now I'd like to call upon Richard Hogan and his topic, homeless-justice. Richard?
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here with you tonight. When I had been led to speak of this subject briefly, it was before what happened last night, and I just wanted to say how grateful, how much gratitude I have for the leadership of the Athens City Council in the resolution to basically reverse Citizens United, which, if carried through all the way, will open up the space to deal with a whole lot of other stuff we're not getting to, including the homeless, landless, hunger, poverty, misery, all the forms of structural dominance that we've been experiencing for so long. Even look at the fracking issue. My understanding is that the housing bubble, the entire investment in our recent housing bubble has been exceeded 5 times over by the investment in fracking. Is there a connection there with what's happening with homeless and landless and hunger? I think so. Separateness is only a temporary illusion for some. We're all here for each other, friends and neighbors, and we have a wonderful start on a fantastic community here, and it would be a shame to let this corporate domination take it further, and the fracking issue is just one of those many dimensions that is driving it all into the ground. So this would take a lot longer than I have. I would say that it's about becoming friends and neighbors. It's about becoming, inhabiting the land together in a way that we can actually begin to create economics of permanence. And we don't have to go much further back in about 100 years and how Gandhi was experiencing that, and his version of home rule. And home rule has been taken away from many of the cities, and I believe this city also has a particular version of that based in representative democracy. So again, this goes on and on. Reskilling, reconnecting, regrounding ourselves, relocalizing, becoming friends and neighbors in a profound way, and put the homeless and the hunger and the poverty and the landless and those connections together and top priorities for us to get together and do what we need to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Now I'd like to call upon Bob Winters, and his topic has the 4 letters AMAC. I'll let you tell me what that stands for.
You're not Dorothy, are you?
No.
Okay.
Good evening. As he says, my name is Bob Winters. I come to you as chair of the Athens Municipal Arts Commission. AMAC is made up of 7 citizens of the Athens area nominated by city administration and appointed by city council. Its mission is to make recommendations to the mayor, the city council, and the community in order to enhance the existing cultural resources of the arts and to promote policies and activities that preserve the beauty, history, and culture of the region. Tonight, I am motivated by that mission statement to invite the members of the Athens community and its leaders to join with AMAC in 2 important opportunities. During the calendar year 2011, AMAC has been a partner of Arts and Economic Prosperity 4, a research project with more than 180 partners involved nationwide. Some of the partners were as large as states. This study seeks to identify the impact of nonprofit arts on the economic pictures of each of its local partners' areas, regions, states, and in the country as a whole. To report the results of this study to the Athens, I've lost my place. To report the results of this study to the Athens County area, the Vice President of Americans for the Arts, the larger organization housing A&EB 4 study, will come to Athens County sometime in June or July of this year. AMAC is working to achieve input from the city administration and the Athens County Economic Development Office to determine the correct time for including the citizens and the media in this event. This then is your invitation to plan to be a part of this presentation of important research involving Athens County and the economic impact of its arts organizations, large and small, as well as its many artists. Dates for the event will be announced in the media and online when arrangements have been solidified. The second opportunity I wish to bring to your attention involves AMAC's desire to establish goals and benchmarks to guide its future activities. We are in the process of trying to identify what the Athens community believes AMAC should be focusing on and developing, and how we should fulfill a pointed leadership role. You're invited to have your input. Our contact information is on the city website.
Thank you, sir. And you want to hand that in to him? Fortunately, he has written remarks so he can get the rest of it into the record. Thank you, Bob. Now I'd like to invite Michael Lockman, and his topic is public transportation. Michael?
Thank you, Ellsworth. As he just said, I'm Michael Lockman, and I think it's a good time in the evening to thank all of you for your presence and your focus thus far in hearing all of these concerns and issues that people have brought up. I'm here tonight to talk about public transportation in the city of Athens and in Athens County. I've just been hired in this past month as the new transit manager. My title is Transportation Services Manager. That's the formal title for Athens Public Transit. And this is coming out of Hocking Athens Perry Community Action, HAPCAP, being awarded the management of Athens Public Transit. And we are thrilled. We're really excited to be working closely with city officials on coming up with a better public transportation system for all of you. Myself, I'm a lifelong resident of Athens, and so I have a real stake and an interest in seeing this happen. And some things that we're looking at, well, first of all, we'd like to improve and develop what's already there in terms of a public bus system. And we'd also hope to further coordinate with Ohio University and with Athens County so that we can deliver things in a way that is shared and thought out as a group rather than separately. We'd like to make our transportation more accessible to citizens. We'd like to get better information out there as to what exists. And we'd like, as a result of all this, to wind up with a public bus system that offers all of you more traveling freedom, more sustainable transportation, safer transportation around the city of Athens. So, to conclude, I don't want to take too much time here. A transit manager strives for on-time performance. But these little slips here have my name and my contact information on them. And if you have an interest in local transit, if you have questions, concerns, ideas, please contact me. I would love to hear what you think. And with that, I'll finish.
Thank you, Michael. Now I'd like to call upon Laura Perotti, and her topic is the proposed new heating plant. Laura?
Hi. There was an article in not this recent Sunday, but a Sunday before, titled, "Engineering Firm, a cleaner OU heating plant will produce considerable noise." Especially for residents on the west side, for businesses on the west side. I don't know if you all know where the Lausch, I think that's how it's called, heating plant. It's Factory Street, I believe, and what they're proposing, I'm all for reducing the pollution in terms of what they're dealing with here, and I smell it because I live pretty close to it. And I was so happy to hear that they're going to do something about it until I read this article. So we're just substituting one pollutant and gaining another, noise pollution. And noise pollution can be just as detrimental to people as air pollution. I've actually done some studies on it. It's kind of part of what I do in my work. My field is sound and voice and vibration. And noise pollution, especially the kind that this is going to produce, which is literally a jet engine, is very destructive to the nervous system. So, and studies have been done. So this concerns me greatly as a resident of the West Side. And I hope you may be, I don't know if you're aware, the administration is aware of what's going on. I don't know if you've been in meetings about this, but I really hope that discussions can be held. Now, they are hoping to, or they say in this article here that there are ways to reduce the noise, but not get rid of it. That concerns me. Jet engine, I don't want a jet engine in my backyard, 24/7. Thank you.
You want to say something, Paul?
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
Thank you.
You only got 30 seconds.
Okay.
Fast.
Good evening, Paul Logue. I'm the city's planner. I did sit on the committee that Ohio University assembled to work on that project. The engineers as well as the university is well aware the city does have a noise ordinance. 80 decibels, I believe, is the maximum. And the engineers are well aware that they have to, anything they design must be in accordance with our code. So it may sound like a jet engine inside, but they would have to have dampening and properly structurally engineered to address that for anybody outside. Yep.
Thank you, Paul, and thank you, Laura. Now I'd like to turn to Tony Famrian, and his topic is parking solutions. I hope I read your last name straight. You printed it. Where's Tony? He did. Okay, that's the way it goes. Nate Ebert, or is it Ebert? I don't know how you pronounce it, but Nate, the floor is yours, and the topic is bicycles.
Well, hi, my name is Nate Ebert, and I'm a founder of the Athens Bicycle Cooperative, which is a loosely knit group of volunteers that helps people fix their bicycles. And maybe I'll touch a little bit on parking solutions as well. So, bikes. Why? Has any of you traveled down East State Street and You caught the eye of what you thought was maybe a zombie behind the wheel, staring off into the taillights of the car in front of it. I don't know. Maybe you've literally driven yourself mad around Athens looking for a parking spot. I don't know. But tonight I'd like to talk to you about some ways we can improve the overall health of our citizens, drastically reduce environmental impact, create stronger relations between neighbors, and maybe cut down on parking. All of these things can happen by continuing to move our city in a more bicycle-friendly way and reduce our dependence on fossil fuels, which you all have probably heard is a big item of concern for the evening. First, safe road conditions are a must. I know that the budget is tight these days. As someone who rides in and out of town regularly, though, I can tell you that the ingress and egress areas need serious attention. I'd like to specifically cite Richland Avenue and Columbus Road. In fact, I broke a part of my bicycle frame hitting a pothole on Columbus Road. Also, in regard to safety issues, crossing of East State Street by the farmers market can be really treacherous, especially for people with families who are on the bike path just trying to go to the farmers market. It's not really easy to cross the road. Second, bicycle parking is inadequate. Oftentimes it can be hard to find proper bicycle parking, and oftentimes they seem to be installed in a manner in which it is cumbersome to lock your bicycle up or not even able to use the full functionality of the bike rack. Sometimes they're too close to the wall, sometimes they're too close to cars. How about replacing a few uptown car parking spots with covered bicycle racks that hold 20 bicycles each? How about the possibility of bicycle lockers in a car parking area that's outside of town, so commuters that come into town can park their cars outside of town, get their bicycle out of their locker, do all the things they need to do for the day, stay out of uptown traffic or wherever they're going. Third, it does not make sense to punish car owners for not driving. Revamping the 24-hour parking law, which I know has been talked about in the past, would cut down on many needless short car trips that people take because they simply have to move their car anyways. While these are only a few things that I mentioned, there are plenty of other things as well.
Nate, I think you get the prize for the ultimate in timing of those who had more to say, because your sentence simply acknowledged that as you ran out of time. So nice going. Let's see, we have 5 more people who have requested, and so I thought I'd let you know that so you can set your focus. We're not going to run forever. Our next speaker is Ben Lockman, and Ben's topic is East Side Neighborhood Association. Ben?
Hi, everybody. I just want to plug that sometimes we have very large issues, fracking, homelessness. Sometimes we have very small issues like your neighbor. If you live on the east side, we're the neighborhood association. You can find us on the web at athensnina.org. We have a mailing list. You can send an email to news-subscribe@athensnina.org. We do have a disaster preparedness workshop coming up on March 6th. That's a Tuesday at 7 p.m. It will tentatively be held at the Red Cross on the east side. We're looking for volunteers. If you're interested in helping out with coming up with ideas for events and scheduling events, that would be great. And as the spring rolls around, we're thinking about doing some stuff with community gardening and tree planting as well. So if you have interest, you can talk to me. I'll stick around for a little while afterwards. Thanks.
Mayor Weil.
I would like to point out in the 30 seconds I have that there are other neighborhood associations. There's the West Side Community Association, the South Side Community Association, the Near North Side Neighborhood Association. I see some of the members in there. And the Far East Side, which is forming as well, Far East Neighborhood Association. Can you raise your hand who's ever in a neighborhood association at this point? Okay. These are your neighbors. There's an association, there's cooperation and communication. If you want to find out, talk to them, because that is part of the community as well. Thank you. 30 seconds, right? Okay.
Well within the 30 seconds that time. Nice going. You see, you're getting more concise.
Thank you.
Okay. Our next speaker is Alyssa Bernstein, and her topic, possible ways citizens can work to increase local government powers, in particular with respect to fracking. Alyssa?
Thank you very much. Yes, my name is Alyssa Bernstein. I moved here close to 10 years ago to work as a professor at Ohio University, which is what I still do. I married a native son of Athens, and I fell in love also with this town and with this whole area. I'm concerned about the Athens Comprehensive Plan and the question of how the citizens of Athens can implement it at all, given the extent to which local control has been reduced or in many respects eliminated, especially with regard to preventing the serious damage to our town and our region that it seems likely to result from fracking. I would like to get the assistance of our governing body to find out what local control remains, what powers remain with the city, what powers remain with the county. I'd like to know how public officials and citizens can take maximal advantage of the powers that remain. I would also like to know exactly what would be the negative consequences if the citizens and the public officials at the city and county levels resist the state with regard to the powers that are pushing fracking into our area. The simple belief that fracking creates an opposition between economic interests and environmental interests, which many people hold, seriously distorts the realities and leads to seriously wrong decisions. The conflict in Athens County is between some residents' economic interests, which depend on preserving the county's clean water, air, soil, and ecosystems, and other people's economic interests, which they want to advance in ways that will, foreseeably, if not exactly intentionally, harm other residents in both the short and the long term. A minority of Athens landowners and a minority of Athens businesses and potential employees may gain short-term benefits, primarily financial, and in some cases large perhaps, from intensive polluting industrialization of this county by companies that use fracking to drill for fossil fuels. Such benefits for that subgroup would come at the cost of gravely serious, irreparable, long-term as well as short-term harms to the rest of the county's population. The harms would concern not only economic interests, but also other important interests such as life, safety, and health. Pollution of water, air, and land would adversely impact this area's economy. Its agriculture, its tourism, the restaurants and markets that buy locally produced food, and many local college and university programs, as well as other aspects of the economy, all depend on the county's healthy ecosystems. And so I would like to ask city government to... A few more words other people have used.
If you have written remarks, you're welcome to hand them to him. I'm sure she has that request in the written remarks, and so it'll be entered in the record. And thank you, Alyssa. We just sort of have to have a sacrificial lamb about every 15 minutes, and that keeps everybody else jogging instead of walking at a leisurely pace. Our next speaker is Archie Stanley, the county engineer, and his topic, roads and bridges. Archie?
Thank you to the League of Women Voters for hosting this event, to the City of Athens for making it possible. Thank you, Mary, for kind of a pre-introduction of my subject, roads and bridges. We've been dealing with roads and bridges for quite a long time, and I'm your Athens County engineer. We became aware of what fracking was all about with vertical fracking back in the 70s and the 80s, and we gained a whole lot of experience with that operation. And I'll have to say that even though all we had at that time was verbal agreements with companies that were using our roads, and it was not just drillers, but loggers and mining and all sorts of other things, we were able to get about 95% compliance. Some of our methods may not have been exactly legal, but we made them aware of what could happen, and we got about 95% compliance. We want 100% compliance. Our job is to protect our county roads and bridges, not just to maintain and repair them. Okay, I'll go back and comment about that. If you have a threat that one of our county trucks would break down in front of your driveway or clean a ditch in front of your driveway with a lot of expensive equipment back there, they usually do what you say. Anyway, with new modern legal techniques, we can't do that anymore. So it's been our job to try to find a more comprehensive written road agreement that we could use to get 100% compliance. We searched around. We started probably a few years ago when the first requests came in to do sonic testing, and the county commissioners approved that. And we've been formulating our strategy ever since. The commissioners will take approval action on our new road agreement, which part of it is to rebuild, for them to strengthen our roads before they start using them, as well as repair them after they get done, if that's necessary. They will take approval action on Thursday, but that doesn't mean it's all over with. I'm here tonight to request any and all input that I can get. And the best way to do it right now, because our website's down, we got technical difficulties, my email is my first and last name, ARCHIESTANLEY, at Athens County Government, all one word, .com. If you will email me and you would like a copy of this road agreement, I'll email it back to you, and you can give me your comments anytime you wish. We've made it available for all the townships, and we're getting very good answers for them that they want to use it. We've made it available to other entities, including the City of Athens, and we hope to have a very regional approach. Thank you.
Archie.
Thank you.
I think it's A. Stanley, or is it Archie? Which is it?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, just...
This is my first initial A and then Stanley.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Okay, good. Thank you for clarifying that. And thank you, Archie. Our next speaker is Mary Ann Gunderson. Mary Ann, and her topic is elementary school closures.
Hi, I live on the west, or on the north side, and my daughter attends West Elementary. And Mayor, thank you for coming to some of our events. We really appreciate seeing you and council out at all the schools. We appreciate that. I attended the November 2011 Athens City School Board meeting where Superintendent Martin recommended a closure of Chancey Elementary School, and he also recommended a long-term committee be set up to address plans such as the possibility of grade level schools at East Elementary, Morrison Gordon Elementary, and the Plains Elementary. Missing from that list, of course, was West. And I didn't ever ask for clarification, but I do know that with the budget cuts that are required, that probably wasn't incorrect. So I'm standing here today to tell you not how wrong that is and how much I love West, because I absolutely do, but like others have said, we all love our elementary schools. But it seems strange to eliminate one of the two remaining neighborhood schools in Athens, spreading 1,550 students to just 3 schools, and like I said, 2 of the 3 not being necessarily the heart of Athens. So I request that council proactively weigh in
on neighborhood schools and the plan that the school board is considering before it's too late, before we're at the point where we're asking for pay to play, $500 per student per sport, things like that. So just consider weighing in before a final decision is already on the table. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Our final speaker is Andrew Barton. His topic is local poverty. Andrew, the floor is yours.
Good evening. I came here tonight. I used to be a student at Ohio University. I've since graduated and I now live in Columbus. And I got an email from my friend Keith Wasserman the other day discussing the issue of the zoning laws in Athens. I attended a meeting similar to this about 5 years ago where we brought up this issue and it seemed to kind of go unheeded, and here we are 5 years later. And it seems we're making some progress, but I don't see that anything's been done so far. So I just wanted to kind of come here to clear my conscience just so that I know that something is being done about this. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "We will have to repent in this generation, not simply for the vitriolic words and actions of bad people, but for the appalling silence of good people." So I came here tonight so that I wouldn't have to repent, I suppose. I did volunteer work, not a lot, just a little, working with children with Good Works for 4 years, and to know that 65 children were turned away, in this past year is unsettling to me. These children changed my lives in the time that I was here. They continue to change my life. One of my good friends is in high school now. He wants to grow up and be a math teacher. And I just encourage you, zoning laws is not a good reason to not give children the opportunity, the same opportunities that I was given growing up in a loving community. We need to love our children. And I just encourage you to hold our leaders accountable and to work together to try and solve this problem, because it's a very sad one. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Everybody who has requested to speak, and it's come to my attention, has spoken. And now I will turn the floor over to our mayor, Paul Weil, for any remarks he would choose to make. Paul? This is not a 3-minute limit. This is his closing presentation. We're off to 3 minutes.
Closing presentation. You've given us a lot of food for thought. I know some of the concerns don't move as quickly as you'd like to. It comes down to resources, both some are in our purview, some are not. And I say that because we've discussed everything from county issues outside the county, school issues, which of course is a school board realm, and we as citizens have some input, but again, it's not a direct correlation. Working on, again, concerns of homeless, that's been on our minds for quite some time. Realize, again, we've had citizen boards, your neighbors, vote on this in terms of what they want or don't want. We have changed some laws, but not enough. The question, of course, is when you do change laws, what the consequences are. I think there's a lot to do in the city. I think you recognize the fact that we have a good community. We have neighborhood associations. We have organizations that put ourselves in place to help each other. Some are in their infancy. Some have been around for a long time. I think we should work together. This is why we come here. I think I had one of my fellow administrators say, I'm brave to get up here and actually be in front of you, but it's not the case of that. It's a case of trying to get guidance as well as respond to what your needs are. Some of it will take some time. They're not easy 30-second answers. I would say look to your neighbors, look to fellow council members, elected officials, both inside the city and outside the city. You talk about the funding at school. It's coming from it's coming from the state level. It's working its way right down to us. We can put local levies on. Talk about fracking you talk about fracking and gas well. It's coming down from the state level. Talk about Clean Ohio funds. They disappeared. Talk about safe routes to schools. It's being defunded. So what are we looking at here? What do you want to pay for? What do you want to do? It's the sky's the limit. I'll do my best to help. I can't promise the world because I don't possess it. We just are part of it. With that said, I see we've got some literature here. Please take some, inform yourselves. Come to the League of Women Voters for the next round of elected officials that will show up, and bring your issues, because they are issues. I know Nate there was talking about, and he didn't have that much time to do with the bicycles. We've been trying to quite actively put the bike lanes in. Michael over here, Lockman, we hope to get a better bus system, because we need a bus system. We need something that will service everybody, so we don't have to spend thousands of dollars on a car, maintenance of a car. We're trying to address all the needs as we can. We have a limited budget. I worry about even losing a bus system. That becomes an issue every once in a while. The funding changes on that, and that's state and federal funding. It disappears. What do we want to see? What do we want to see come to us? Last week, we had Mr. Tellman from Dish, Texas, talking about what the industrial landscape would look like when all the gas wells are out there. It was not a pretty sight from the Google Earth pictures we see. That might actually, we're looking at that as to raise all boats, from what I've been told. I mean, there's entrepreneurs out there who look at this as a great opportunity. Is that short-sighted? Is that long-sighted? Are we knowledgeable on what's going to happen there? Are we taking a chance with our water, our aquifer? Thanks for giving up the input. Ron here has been taking copious notes. You've submitted your pieces to it. We will have other town hall meetings. I know the Disabilities Commission wants to put one on mental health and homelessness, mostly because that is an issue. I'm not sure when that's going to be. We have to work. What is it? April 12th. April 12th.
Housing for people in need is expanding some.
Okay, there you go. I guess that's next on our plate and agenda. Work with us, talk with us. My door is open, my email is on the website, along with all my fellow citizens and workers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Weil. So we will anticipate in June having a town hall meeting in which the mayor and his staff will respond. And I want to thank all of you you've all been superior good citizens tonight, because we stuck with those 3 minutes, and that was 30 of you, I believe, who had a chance to come up and say, these are my concerns. And finally, I want to thank our mayor and recognize it takes a lot of courage for a city administration to say, here is a microphone, you have 3 minutes to talk about your concerns. And Mayor Weil, most mayors would never consider doing that, so I want to thank you, and I want to thank all of the good citizenship we saw here this evening. And so our meeting is adjourned. Thanks for coming.